you are unknowingly etching deep, permanent grooves into your face every single day through seven specific habits that have absolutely nothing to do with your genetics or the number of birthdays you've celebrated. It's a painful realization, isn't it? We spend hundreds of dollars on miracle serums and night creams, yet we continue to practice rituals that act like a silent chisel, undoing all our hard work while we sleep, eat, and even relax. Most seniors have been told that wrinkles are just the price of admission for a long life, but the science tells a much more empowering story. The truth is that a significant portion of what we call aging is actually cumulative damage from overlooked behaviors. I want to validate that feeling of frustration you might have when you look in the mirror and feel like the person looking back looks more tired than you actually feel. It's not your fault. Most of these habits are invisible because they've been part of our routine for decades. However, there is a hidden culprit behind the breakdown of your skin's elasticity. It's the lack of structural awareness in our daily movements and choices. In our time together today, I'm going to reveal exactly what these seven habits are and, more importantly, how you can pivot starting today. By the end of this conversation, you'll have a clear, evidence-based toolkit to stop the accelerated etch and help your skin reflect the vitality you still feel inside. Before we get into the how, I'd love to know where you're watching from today. I always enjoy seeing the reach of our community. So please leave a comment with your city or state. And if you're looking for the kind of senior health tips that go deeper than the surface level advice often found in magazines, consider subscribing to our channel. We're building a space where science and empathy meet to help us all age with strength. The first habit that most of us completely ignore is the way we position our bodies during the 1/3 of our lives spent in bed, specifically the mechanical shearing of our faces against the pillow. We often think of sleep as a time of total recovery, but if you are a side or stomach sleeper, you are essentially ironing wrinkles into your skin for 8 hours every single night. This isn't just a theory. A landmark study published in the Aesthetic Surgery Journal found that sleep wrinkles are a distinct clinical entity caused by the repetitive compression of the face against a surface. The researchers discovered that while expression lines are caused by muscle contractions, sleep wrinkles are caused by the skin being stretched and folded in the same way, night after night. As we get older, our skin loses the snapback quality of youth, largely due to a decrease in type 1 collagen, meaning those folds that used to disappear 5 minutes after waking up eventually become permanent fixtures on your cheeks, forehead. Imagine your skin as a piece of fine, expensive silk. If you crumple that silk into a ball and put a heavy book on top of it every night, the fabric will eventually develop deep, stubborn creases that no amount of steam can fully remove. That is exactly what happens to your dermal matrix when it's pressed into a cotton pillowcase. To stop this process, the gold standard is training yourself to sleep on your back, which allows your face to remain floated and free of pressure. I know that's easier said than done, especially if you deal with back pain or snoring. If you must sleep on your side, the actionable takeaway here is to switch to a silk or satin pillowcase. These materials have a much lower coefficient of friction, allowing your skin to glide rather than fold, and they don't theft moisture from your skin the way cotton does. Beyond how we sleep, we must look at how we are sweetening our skin's destruction through a biological process called glycation. You've likely heard 1,000 times that sugar is bad for your waistline or your heart. But for a senior, sugar is a literal skin stiffener. When you consume excess sugar, those glucose molecules attach themselves to your collagen and elastin fibers, the very proteins that keep your skin bouncy and firm. This creates something called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs turn your once supple collagen into something brittle and rigid. A fascinating study conducted by the Leiden University Medical Center in the Netherlands analyzed over 600 participants and found a direct correlation between high blood sugar levels and perceived age. For every 1 ml increase in blood sugar, the participants were perceived as being 5 months older than their actual age by independent observers. Imagine your collagen fibers as the flexible springs in a mattress. Glycation is like pouring liquid concrete over those springs. Once it hardens, the mattress loses all its give and starts to sag and crack. It's a process that happens from the inside out, which is why even the best topical creams can't fix it. The practical advice here isn't to never eat a cookie again, but to focus on glucose buffering. Always eat your fiber and protein before your carbohydrates. This slows down the absorption of sugar and prevents the massive glucose spikes that trigger the formation of those skin damaging AGEs. Simply changing the order in which you eat the food on your plate can have a profound impact on the structural integrity of your face over time. The third habit is one that sounds simple but is ignored by nearly 75% of adults: chronic low level cellular dehydration. We often wait until we feel thirsty to drink, but by then, your skin is already suffering. As we age, our skin's ability to retain moisture decreases because the natural production of hyaluronic acid and ceramides drops. When you are even slightly dehydrated, your body prioritizes its vital internal organs, your heart, your brain, your kidneys, and thefts water from your skin to keep them running. This causes your skin cells to shrivel, which makes every fine line look like a deep canyon. Research published in the Journal of Clinical, Cosmetic, and Investigational Dermatology proved that increasing dietary water intake can significantly improve the extensibility and elastic recoil of the skin, particularly in those who typically drink lower amounts. The study showed that well-hydrated skin isn't just wetter, it's physically more resilient to the folding that causes wrinkles. Think of a lush, plump grape compared to a dry, shriveled raisin. The only difference between the two is the presence of water. When your skin is dehydrated, it loses its turgor. That's the internal pressure that keeps your skin smooth. To combat this, don't just try to drink more. Instead, structure your hydration. Have a glass of water every time you transition between tasks. When you finish a meal, when you finish a phone call, or when you come back from a walk. And a quick tip for my fellow coffee lovers: caffeine is a diuretic, so for every cup of tea or coffee, make sure you're matching it with an equal amount of water to keep your skin's reservoir full. Now, we have to talk about a habit that many seniors consider a safe activity: sitting by the window or driving without protection. This is what I call the window trap. We are often very good about wearing sunscreen at the beach, but we ignore the UVA rays that stream through our living room windows and car windshields. While UVB rays cause the surface level burn, UVA rays are the ones responsible for aging. They penetrate deep into the dermis and dismantle your DNA. A striking study published in the New England Journal of Medicine featured a 9-year-old man who had been a delivery driver for 28 years. The left side of his face, the side exposed to the sun through the truck's side window, showed extreme thickening of the skin and deep furrowed wrinkles, while the right side looked significantly younger. This unilateral dermatoheliosis proved that incidental sun exposure through glass is a primary driver of facial collapse. Imagine your skin is like a vintage painting. If you hang it in a room with a window, even if the sun never hits it directly, the ambient UV light will eventually fade the colors and make the canvas brittle. Your skin is no different. The actionable takeaway here is to make a broad spectrum SPF 30 plus a non-negotiable part of your morning routine, even if you don't plan on leaving the house. Modern sunscreens aren't the thick, greasy pastes we remember from the 70s. There are many lightweight, hydrating formulas that feel just like a moisturizer. If you're finding these tips useful so far, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us get this science-backed information to more people who need it. The fifth habit involves the way we use our eyes, specifically the habit of unconscious squinting. As our vision changes, many of us develop a perpetual squint to read the mail or look at the television. While this feels like a minor muscular adjustment, it is actually a form of repetitive stress on the skin around the eyes and between the brows, the 11 lines. Every time you squint, you are folding the skin in the same place over and over. A study in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology explained that repeated facial expressions, especially those caused by visual strain, eventually lead to the permanent breakdown of the dermal epidermal junction. As we lose elasticity, the skin no longer has the strength to unfold itself once the muscle relaxes. Think of a piece of cardboard. If you bend it once, it stays flat. If you bend it in the same spot 1,000 times, it develops a permanent crease and eventually tears. That's what squinting is doing to the delicate skin around your eyes. The fix is remarkably simple. Keep your vision prescription up to date. If you find yourself straining to see, it's time for an eye exam. Additionally, always wear polarized sunglasses when you're outdoors. These don't just protect your eyes, they prevent the squint reflex that occurs in bright light, allowing the muscles around your eyes to remain in a neutral, relaxed state. Next on our list is a modern habit that is wreaking havoc on the neck and jawline, tech neck. Because we are more connected than ever, many seniors spend hours on tablets or smartphones checking in on grandchildren or reading the news. When we tilt our heads down to look at a device, we are placing an incredible amount of mechanical stress on the thin skin of the neck. A study published in Surgical Technology International by Dr. Kenneth Hansraj found that when you tilt your head forward at a 60-degree angle, you are placing up to 60 pounds of force on your cervical spine. This downward pull doesn't just hurt your back, it creates a folding effect that leads to horizontal neck bands and a sagging jawline. Imagine a heavy bowling ball resting on a silk scarf. The weight will eventually cause the silk to stretch and sag. That bowling ball is your head, and the scarf is the skin of your neck. To counter this, practice the eye level rule. Bring your phone or tablet up to your eyes rather than bringing your eyes down to the device. If you're reading a book, use a book stand or prop it up on a pillow. By keeping your chin parallel to the floor, you're allowing the skin of your neck to remain taut and preventing the gravity-induced etching that characterizes tech neck. The final habit is perhaps the most difficult to address, but the most vital for our overall health: carrying chronic low-level stress. We often think of stress as a mental state, but it is a biological reality that corrodes the skin. When you are stressed, your body produces cortisol, a hormone that at high levels actually inhibits collagen production and speeds up its degradation. A groundbreaking study from the University of California, San Francisco, found that chronic stress is linked to shorter telomeres, the protective caps on the ends of our DNA. When telomeres shorten, our cells can no longer divide and repair themselves effectively, leading to what scientists call cellular senescence, or rapid aging of the tissue. Think of stress as a fire in a building. If you don't put it out, it eventually weakens the structural beams and causes the walls to crack. Chronic cortisol is that slow burning fire for your skin. While we can't always change our life circumstances, we can change our physiological response. The actionable takeaway here is to incorporate just 5 minutes of deep rhythmic breathing into your day. This isn't just meditation, it's a biological kill switch for cortisol. When you lower your stress hormones, you are literally giving your skin cells the all clear to start the repair process again. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by all of this, but I want you to take a moment to realize how much power you actually have. We've covered a lot today: the mechanical pressure of sleep, the hidden damage of sugar, the theft of water from our cells, the window trap of UV rays, the physical strain of squinting, the downward pull of tech neck, and the corrosive effect of stress. But none of these things are fixed in stone. Every one of these habits is something you can begin to shift today. By simply sleeping on your back, choosing fiber-rich foods, staying consistently hydrated, wearing indoor SPF, updating your glasses, lifting your chin, and taking a few deep breaths, you are doing more for your skin's longevity than any expensive procedure ever could. You are tending to the foundation of your health. You have spent a lifetime gathering wisdom and experiences. You deserve to have a face that reflects that beauty without the unnecessary wear and tear of these ignored habits. I want to leave you with this: you are worth the effort. Your health, your independence, and your confidence are worth fighting for. Knowledge is the first step, and now that you have it, you can move forward with a sense of empowerment. I'm curious, which of these 7 habits felt like the biggest aha moment for you? Is there one you feel ready to change tonight? Please share your thoughts in the comments. We learn so much from each other's journeys. If you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. It's the best way to ensure you don't miss our next deep dive into the science of aging well. Your skin is the story of your life. And while the lines of laughter and experience are beautiful, you have the right to protect your skin from the lines of neglect. Take a deep breath, stand a little taller, and remember, that it is never too late to start a new chapter of health. Would you like me to create a simple daily skin protection checklist that you can print out to help you remember these shifts as you go through your day?